Hi, guys. Welcome to Chemo Glow, where the glow doesn't define me, I define the glow. Well, today is not scheduled. I have no back producers, I have um, no audience. It's just me. Today, 10 years ago, I heard those words, you have cancer. So many times we just celebrate our celebration of life, being here, thriving. Well, um, I was in the shower. I just did a Peloton ride and I had a moment. And that's one of the reasons why I do Chemo Glow is because of these glow moments. And I came upstairs and I was talking to my husband and I said, you know what today is? It's the day that the doctor told us that we have cancer. Um, and how I was told that I had cancer, um, there was no like easy way to tell someone, okay, you have cancer. But that doctor, in my mind, didn't do a very good job. Um, we were just talking about, my husband and I were talking about how there was no support at the place that I was at. When they told me that, they really, you go through the front door and they push you out the back door, and it's in a parking lot. Right? So you walk into darkness. They just gave you darkness, and then you walk into darkness. And so, um, at, my husband did really well with asking everybody to step out for a moment because I was mad, and sometimes my moment today was anger. Right? 10 years later, my moment today is anger. Um, Frustration because I hope people are not receiving that news the way I received it 10 years ago. And, I celebrate in April being a thriver, being cancer free, because that's how long it took to get the second opinion. And during that time, again, if you guys listen to me, you know that, I was planning a wedding, we were doing all these wonderful things, and everything happened. So that white time between the time that I was told those words in a different facility, a different hospital, um, to the time that I was on the table. And in between that time, we were moving from one city. I had to move my stuff from one city to the next. Me and my husband squeezed in a 3-day Puerto Rico. I can laugh about it, but it was so freaking awful because it was off season. Nothing was going on. It was just craziness. But we squeezed a 3-day honeymoon, if that's what you want to call it, because everything was so grim. It was beautiful there, but it's off season. You can't do anything. And then you're going to second hospitals, right? So you're going to a second hospital with a second diagnosis, and it's not like the first one. And my experience the first time was awful. I felt like I didn't have the support with the women's clinic. You're in here. My nurse navigator was good because she's the one that told me to go get a second opinion. But when we went to the hospital for, UNC for that second opinion, we didn't hear the same words, but the customer service of it all was wonderful. The doctor was straightforward. I liked the setup at UNC because they allowed everyone to come into one room instead of me driving to one building to the next building, trying to park more than one time. So I really like that. But the reason why I'm coming on is because of this glow moment. Um, it's okay to be angry about the situation. But my husband reminded me if they didn't do their job, I probably wouldn't be here right now. We probably wouldn't be having this conversation. But your glow moments are so important. Any moment that you have, acknowledge it, whether it's a moment of sadness, a moment of fear. Um, you need to recognize it and acknowledge it. So, hearing those words changed my life, changed my husband's life. Um, and now we're 10 years out in April, celebrating those 10 years. Um, and celebrating 10 years cancer free and just celebrating, period. So, guys, I was just having a glow moment and I thought I would share it with you. I hope more people, when they hear those words, if they have to hear those words, that they're said with kindness and they understand that giving bad news is not easy. The doctors, and I've sat on some panels where doctors ask us what's the best way to tell someone that they have cancer. Well, I've yet to find like a great way, but I think being honest and not sugarcoating it is a good way. And telling them what the expectation is. We can't stage you at this time. We have to do this. We have to do that. You need to go, get your biopsy. We need to follow up with this doctor. You might meet with a surgical oncologist. You might meet with your radiologist. You might meet with your surgical teams. There's so much to this thing called cancer. So again, no fanfare. I literally just got out the shower, asked my husband if he can help me work with my mic and my headphone. My girls are downstairs tutoring. So I just thought that I'd get on here and tell you about that glow moment. Hey, Tasha. Let me tell you about Tasha Prescott. Like during the time that I was going through and trying to get back on my exercise, I went through Get Real and Heal, all that good stuff. But Tasha did this thing where she was exercising virtually before everything went virtual. This was a while back. And she did, I think it was 30 days, a 30-day commitment. And every day I would show up. It started with a handful of us. And it ended with, I think, just me. And I was so grateful that she kept on with just me because I was going through a moment at that time and I needed to connect. And she did that for me. And that exercising is amazing. And Tasha, what you doing? You want to come on? Can I send you an invite? Can I chat with you right quick? Let me know. Hit me in the comment section because I'll send you an invite. I've been wanting to talk to Tasha on Chemo Go Live because it's not just about cancer, guys. It's not about radiation. It's not about just chemo. It's about how are you defining your glow? You're right. Everybody has so many. Were you just on the bike? You were on the bike earlier. I just did that 60-minute ride with Ali Love. My Peloton is my peace. I don't get on it as often as I should, but I need to get back into the groove of things. But Tasha, I actually had a moment where I thought I had a scare in September, and Tasha happened to be in the area. She lives in a whole different city than me, and my husband couldn't come to my ultrasound, and then I had to get a biopsy, all that good stuff, and I was sitting in my car, and I don't know if I text her or she texts me or whatever, but we end up meeting because she was getting her car serviced in Raleigh, and it wasn't too far from where my home place was at that time. And sitting there and just talking to her about what was going on, and I hadn't told anybody but my husband and one other person, and just sitting there and just talking. We talked about everything, not just, okay, you're going through this, you're going through that. We just talked about life. And that's when I knew that I was in a better place to receive any type of news. So I thank you, Tasha. I appreciate you. But we'll definitely get on soon. But guys, that was my glow moment. I was having that moment in the shower, being upset because the day is the day, right? And the wait time was real. And I am so happy that I am celebrating 10 years out. I'm celebrating with my husband 10 years married. That's a lot. Can you imagine being engaged and then finding out that your fiance has cancer and then having to move your family, get everything set up, and being there and being that person? Well, guess what? I had that person, my husband. Amazing. Um, so thanks, guys, for listening. I was just having a glow moment. Maybe I'll do this more. But remember, define your glow. The glow doesn't define me, I define the glow. Thanks for listening.